Good evening. I feel that should be our tagline.
We can.
We can. We pay Unai just a little fee there, and that's how you are welcome to the Left Back Sports Podcast. And welcome. We've got a lot of flack about the name.
Have we?
Yes. I always say there's no such thing as a hater. We don't have ops. You're not Drake. And even Drake doesn't have ops. But yeah, a lot of negative pushback on the name.
I've heard the contrary.
TLB. They say TLB. What is that? What is that? It's made from my dad.
Then they say, I got good compliments about the name. I said, I like the name and the pun and double entendres and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like,
No, I was just completely lying there.
Oh.
Just made up a lie.
Oh, okay.
But how have you been?
Good start.
Good start to the pod. How have you been, Mosaics? Because it's been a busy week in sport. How is your life? Has it been busy?
Good. Busy. Ish. Not really busy. But this morning, oh my word, what a morning. One of those mornings.
What happened?
Just, people.
People get ya.
People. That's all I can say.
Family.
The worst of them. Nah, I'm joking. But yeah, I had a busy morning. But I'm here, excited for what lies ahead for the viewers.
It's always exciting. I find it's exciting to be excited.
There we go.
Or even just be excitable.
I like this positive.
Yes, we had Wayne in. He said he liked your approach to life. He said I'm a bit extremist. Probably true.
Probably true.
I swing up and down, but we've got another big episode planned. And I hate to break the depressing news. We're falling off the charts.
Hey.
Thinking Miley Cyrus, Wrecking Ball. It's not looking good.
I saw the stars in the Hollywood Walk of Fame there for Willies and Mosaics, but
yeah, well, we're still in the top 10, but not first.
We want to be first.
When did you know the 10th?
No, we don't.
World champions of what?
World champions of what? But please get us back to number 1. Not like we care, but it's cool.
Please.
Begging you.
You've been recognized in public for the first time. How did that feel?
I'm an internet sensation. What can I say? But yeah, went to gym. I do know the guy.
Oh.
That
doesn't...
No, but he told me, look, I greeted him and you're doing chest. The small talking.
Yes,
gym.
I hate it.
And then he says, and you're doing the podcast. And I'm like, oh. And I just sat down, and I was like, yo.
It felt
famous.
This is fame. Did you feel almost the need to spit on him because he's okay? Yeah,
no, I'm not like that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's weird. I just got Vaseline in my eye.
Hey, I don't know how to handle this yet. But look, I don't care about the fame. I just want to speak about sport.
You just want to chat about sport. Talking about sport, gym. You at the gym? I'm also gymming. You can see.
Yeah.
I come from the Faf du Plessis School of Gym.
Okay.
Which means I don't gym and then I just buy very small shirts. And then you occasionally do some hammer curls.
Yeah,
no, I'm only joking. But the gym chat, it's insufferable.
It is.
Like you just said there, you go in there and someone's like, hey, you're gymming chest. Yeah, like every day.
Yeah. Nah, I was actually driving to gym and I thought the culture in gym, it's actually good. Like you see, meet nice supportive people, blah, blah, blah. But the chats, it's everything is the same. You chat exactly the same conversation to every single person.
Yeah. No, it is. Oh, what's your training?
Yeah.
This. How's it going? Good session.
How's your week been?
I'm depressed.
Yeah.
That's you never. I think you should also do it.
Yeah.
Like where I spoke to someone the other day. He's this crazy goalkeeping coach, and I was like, how are you? He said, fuck off. And I said, what? He's like, yeah, it's private. And I thought that was funny because he was also joking up, but I was like, but
it's honesty.
How are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? You don't even listen.
Good.
It's like when people introduce themselves. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah.
And then you forget the name after the conversation.
Yeah, you can't do it. But we've got a big episode, of course. We will quickly recap what's going on in the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup. Also, I'm blessed to be in a time where the Cricket World Cup and the Rugby World Cup are
simultaneously
coinciding.
Yeah.
Not good for productivity though.
No.
And I'll watch anything. I'll watch Afghanistan take on the Netherlands. So it hasn't been good. And then our main story that we want to focus on is money in sport, because that is something of great interest recently. And then of course hockey. is the first time we're going to feature hockey
Yeah.
because it dovetails nicely with money of sport because there's no money in hockey.
Correct.
So
There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing.
it'll be
There's
interesting to talk about, and there's some important things happening in the hockey calendar.
Yeah.
But without further ado,
nothing.
what have you been making of the recent events in the Rugby World Cup?
Yeah. So Portugal beating Fiji. Very, very exciting game. And I think, just think Portugal deserve to actually win a game at the World Cup. They play very, very attractive rugby.
Yes,
really enjoy it.
When your attacking coach is Vasco da Gama, you are used to infiltrating islands and taking what's not yours.
No, but making history, winning the first game. I saw the clip of obviously them kicking the ball out at, the Rugby World Cup TikTok thing. They did a whole dramatic thing. And it was nice. It was cool.
It is fantastic. So first World Cup win, that's massive. It's bizarre because like these tier 2 teams, I like it. It's like being called the third world country, and for once we're not. We're tier 1, baby.
We're the best.
But check with your first world tier 2 nonsense. But yeah, they're a razzle dazzle team. I've really enjoyed watching Portugal. Do you think Ronaldo enjoys watching Portugal play rugby?
I think he does not. I think he's just Ronaldo and he just needs to focus on football in the Middle East. But I think he will definitely know about it.
Yeah, don't bring up the Middle East. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a bit like when I found out that Conor McGregor supported Ireland. And I was like, what? Obviously, he's Irish.
Yeah.
And he's like watching Irish rugby. But it was like with superstars who like seem bigger than the sport or are like sports themselves, you
Makes
think
sense.
Ronaldo is football,
Makes
McGregor is UFC, MMA.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Why do they care about anything
want
else?
James.
Yeah.
They know who Bundi Aki is? That's weird.
Bundi Aki, isn't it Bandi? Oh, yeah.
Bundi Aki. Bunda. Temba Babunda. Anyway, we'll get more into that. And then, of course, we had Scotland versus Ireland.
Boring game.
Yeah. It was more like SmackDown versus Raw.
It
Piers
was.
Skuman providing the most entertaining moments of the match.
Good.
If that was a Fijian, he would have been sent to prison for 50 years. Play on, but just
I didn't watch. I just told Sam off camera. I didn't watch the
Russell tussle.
The Russell tussle in the game. I just saw the clips. I didn't even know what happened.
No, it was classic Sexton. Johnny Sexton's a fantastic rugby player.
Oh, I love
Sex magic, but I hate him.
You hate him?
Oh,
I think
hate him.
I love him.
Yeah, he's brilliant, but I don't like, because he pretends to be the good guy, but it's
Okay.
Same thing as McCaw, like, what you mean I'm lying on the wrong side of the ruck while he's kicking someone.
Hands in the ruck and stuff. Yeah,
dirty bastard. But he's a brilliant rugby player, and he's the sort of, he is what gets that Ireland, Irish backline cooking.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, maybe?
You said it.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's
Beautiful imagery here.
There we go.
Kids Eat. Well, no, it's not Kids Eat. So sometimes, what's the show called again?
The
left back.
CLB.
Certified lover boy. But yeah, so that was exciting. Now, of course, we do progress to the quarterfinals. There's been a lot of foreplay in this Rugby World Cup, and that is over. It's time for action. We've had enough tickling under the covers, and we've got the big one: France versus South Africa.
Big one. The Sunday.
Monday is a write-off.
Monday, we're not doing anything, guys. We either win and we party or we lose and we're mourning.
Yeah, day of mourning or day of celebration.
There you go.
There will be no in between. Nothing. Come on, Cyril, do it.
New Zealand and Ireland as well.
That's another cracker.
Crackerjack of a game.
I think New Zealand are going to win. I just have a feeling.
I actually want New Zealand to win because everybody's underestimating them. I don't support New Zealand, but I just feel like it's disrespectful to the New Zealanders. But also, I want to get Ireland in the final so we can beat them. So I'm a bit, conflicted.
Do you get the mentality of coloured people from the Western Cape supporting New Zealand?
I do get it.
You get it.
But for those...
So do you want to enlighten us on
it's about apartheid. So I think the Springboks were the symbol of, just Afrikaner nationalism and all that sort of stuff. And because of that, a lot of Western Cape and Eastern Cape people of colour supported New Zealand, obviously being against the apartheid regime, which is obviously embodied by the Springboks. So I do get it.
Yes.
But the newer generation, like myself, yourself, that was born after apartheid, that's just supporting New Zealand because their fathers and their grandfathers and grandmothers and whatever, they support New Zealand. I don't think that's valid. because you born in a new South Africa where everything should be united.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
No, I get that 100%. My bizarre experience of it was going to Newlands and almost seeing...
Half, almost.
Yeah, you're like, oh, these guys are all Maori or whatever.
No, they're from Hookup.
From around the corner. So, but you obviously get it. And I think what's interesting with what you're saying there is that it's just family values, or you're like, if your dad's doing the haka in the living room while you're 6 years old and saying the fucking Springboks, you're probably going to support New Zealand.
Yeah, I get it.
It's in the same way you support United when your dad supports United. You're not like, it doesn't have to be this massive political thing. It is always just funny, like seeing that 50-50 split at Newlands or now Greenpoint, but you can't even see the split because it's so big, the stadium.
But it's also, I think, the SA Rugby Union also don't like New Zealand to play in Cape Town. So all the matches will be maybe in Ellis Park or in Durban, because they know that when they play in South Africa, it's almost Cape Town, it's almost going to be like 50-50 split.
Yeah, there was a similar controversy when England came to South Africa. I was at one of the test matches, play cricket at Newlands, obviously the cricket ground, not the rugby stadium. And because the Barmy Army and all these tour groups had bought out tickets, it felt like you were watching cricket
in England
at Lord's,
which
was so bizarre. Lots of fun because the Barmy Army pay for all your drinks.
Yeah, they're very, very.
But
fun.
then you're stumbling around drunk. It's not a good look. The other World Cup, the real stinker of the quarterfinal is Wales versus Argentina.
Argentina through.
You reckon?
I like them. I like the rugby they play as well.
I think Wales are good value to win there.
They are, but I think Argentina will just...
But I definitely think of the 4 games, that's the least interesting. And the one that's flying under the radar maybe for South African and Irish fans, or the sort of bigger players in world rugby, France, New Zealand, Ireland, South Africa, is of course England-Fiji. Because who doesn't want Fiji to win?
True. Nah, I said it in the last podcast. I don't think they'll win the World Cup. They might be like the Morocco of the Football World Cup.
Yeah.
They might. So they might maybe sneak in a semi-final appearance. And then when it's in the semi, baby, anything can happen. So
And England could barely beat Samoa.
Barely.
By the skin of every single... I have never, ever in my life, and again, I speak under correction, but I've never seen a conversion after a try that's been awarded take place. The conversion's over, then the TMO review comes.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. That's not procedure. And of course, with these sort of islander sides, and I think we experience a lot as South Africans. We get a lot of the bad calls against us. But the islanders, they don't stand a fucking chance.
No, the TMO should be before the conversion.
Yeah.
They'll say, fly off or whatever. Just hold on. TMO's reviewing. But anyway.
But the more important story, because we're South African, it doesn't matter what teams they put out or who's playing where. Or
it's the guy in the middle.
Who's refereeing? That's what we want to know. And I'll tell you, we're already complaining about the ref.
I saw Ben O'Keefe.
More like Ben O'Queef.
Ben O. shit. Ben O. shit.
It's terrifying. So we've got Ben O'Keefe for South Africa versus France, and there's the most fantastic thing. It's worth the whole world seeing this TikTok because it's hilarious, and I want to see your
interrupting the pod of Ben.
Well, with Ben,
Benjamin,
he gets to have a feature. But I sent this to my dad.
Come on the pod, Ben.
My dad just screams offside from minute 1 to 8. He's like offside in the hockey. He's like forward pass. So this is of course one of the no, that's a link he sent me. That's of something else.
That's something else.
That's of unconscious bias. Ben O'Queef. God, he's terrifying. And he can really ruin a game.
You can
ruin a game, but I hope he doesn't. And it's one of those things where you have to be in control of the fixture. You got to get it done.
I don't think referees purposefully try to ruin a game. Well, that's just me. Yes. But we never know how they're feeling in the game. Obviously, they have their allegiances with their countries. And
I ref a lot of hockey, so it's obviously not rugby, but it's a different sport completely. And it's so true. If I like analyze how I ref, you have unconscious bias. You have inherent bias. So even if like a 50-50 call, which in rugby, there are so many 50-50 calls. You don't know which way it could have gone. True. So you blow it and you think that was an instant reaction. And then you look back on your game and you go, oh, I gave 6 of those calls to the dominant team, or 6 of the calls to that guy I thought was a more sort of skilled player.
Yeah.
So it's very messy, and of course, it's not good.
Yeah.
But I think if we were more aware of it, it could be handled a bit better. So Wayne Barnes has got Ireland versus New Zealand. A lot of people saying that he's the best ref in the world.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is. Where is he from? I know he's English.
He's English, Wayne Barnes.
Nice,
Yeah.
I
He's
like
English. And then old Frenchie, Mathieu Reynal is taking England, Fiji. I think that's
is
good.
He the
French ref.
The one that ref the previous World Cup final.
The
previous World Cup final.
No, I think that was Jerome, who's he's actually working with the French.
Oh.
So yeah, very interesting, because you know the game of rugby is so contested in terms of that. And then Jaco Paper will be doing his best Jack Russell impersonation as he chases everyone around the field for 80 minutes.
A little bit of a beer mag there.
I saw someone call him trigger happy. Jaco Paper, and that's pretty true. He loves a fucking pen. And do you have an update on Dupont?
I don't, but we don't care.
It doesn't
matter.
Who was that? Is that The Rock? It
doesn't matter what you think. But Dupont can play. He doesn't play. Get
Bring
it
back
twin.
everyone.
We don't care.
Bring back Chabal.
Bring back Toussaint also. Bring back the whole happy lot.
Bring back Henri. We're still gonna kill ya. Thierry. So,
bring anyone back. It doesn't matter.
Are South African rugby fans the most toxic fan base in the world?
They are.
I think we're up there with Real Madrid. Hala Madrid. We're toxic, eh?
No, we're toxic.
We expect the Springboks to win every game. There's no room for improvement.
No, we really.
The refs are cheat. Everyone's racist.
I think I spoke about it in the pod as well. I think we have, the Springboks, they control the emotions of this country. So if they lose, everybody is upset. If they win, we can do better. And it's,
everyone.
But Booker, if you're not watching this, well, you should. Good luck for the game on Sunday. We back you boys. Come on, bring it home. Bring it home.
We don't even have to watch that one. It'll be. I think it'll be a great contest.
Yeah.
I think we would have already played 2 World Cup finals. We've got Ireland, South Africa was essentially, that could have been a World Cup final.
France.
And I think France, South Africa will also have that feeling. And that's what All Blacks all-time legend Steve Hansen, All Black coach, back-to-back Rugby World Cup winner. He said the tough thing about a Rugby World Cup is you have to win back-to-back-to-back. So you have to win 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
You've got to win your quarter, semi, and obviously the final.
To be the best, you got to beat the best.
You got to beat the best. But now moving on to the Cricket World Cup. What did we tell you? It's coming home.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I said South Africa and I just... We're winning the World Cup.
Not me. Back the
Sorry. Bavuma and boys, the cock. I'm sorry, guys. You should be there, the cock. I'm sorry.
Bavuma was the only one who didn't score.
Everybody's scoring hundreds.
Yeah.
Bavuma.
Cricket will humble you. Even though your team wins, you got to see that. 8.
But a very impressive performance.
Yes.
Against the Sri Lanka.
But Bavuma, 8 or 5, it was brilliant.
Strike rate is up.
Strike rate is up. But no, I think we have, and Brad Haddon agrees, I saw him speaking about it on some Australian show, South Africa have the most powerful batting lineup. Okay, so you've got...
I hate to admit that, but it's true.
Why would you hate to admit it?
Because I said we don't have... we were chatting in one of my WhatsApp groups, friendship groups, and I said, we don't have a good team, good squad. But to think about it, we actually do have a very, very potent batting lineup.
Yes, and we take on Australia.
When do they take on Australia?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Thursday or today. Ha ha ha.
We don't care.
But yeah, Mohammad Rizwan's unbeaten 131. Oh,
Yeah.
that Pakistan side is cooking.
Is warm.
is vuurwarm.
Is vuurwarm.
Now that the news that no one cares about, football.
Yeah, we'll just ramble this on. So Arsenal, Pep City in the Prem.
What a boring game.
Very boring game. Very tactical, but
Yes,
boring.
yeah. It's like two boxers standing there waiting
Yeah.
to see who's gonna.
Did you see the fight with Walker and Arsenal's set piece coach?
Yeah.
No one cares. But anyway, moving on.
Apparently, he's a ex-City coach, so there was maybe some existing beef where he said,
Oh, it's something else.
bumped your wife. Or, what did you
Bumped
hear?
your wife?
You never know what they say.
I heard when City were beating Arsenal previously, he didn't want to shake hands with the players. And now when Arsenal
They win.
So he wants to shake hands and Walker's like, you know.
Oh, Beck.
Yeah, you
Beck.
United on the mend?
Nah.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Good character shown.
That sounds like Brendan Rodgers when he was at Liverpool. Character.
Yeah,
It's all about character.
Character.
No, it's about winning some games, yeah, donkey.
Yeah.
So, I don't. Well, no, it was shit. It was shit until extra time.
Uplifting at the end, obviously getting the 3 points.
Yes.
But yeah, I just feel like we still need a long way to go.
And I think that was a touch for the Ferguson family. Obviously,
Very poetic, eh?
Losing his wife. I believe her name's Kathy. I'm not sure.
Kathy, so she passed away, I think, a day before or previous days. And then Scott McTominay, a Scotsman, scoring in Fergie time, also from the academy. It's poetic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Poetic.
Fergie's always been bullish on Scott.
Yeah.
Never quite reached. Yeah, he's a donkey. But anyway, who's not a donkey is Bellingham.
And Hazard.
Do you think we missed him? Because episode 1, go back, check it out. We spoke about unfulfilled talent and potential. And I think we maybe missed
Eden
Hazard because retiring at 32 after not really being spoken about whatsoever.
After Madrid. I think that's the worst transfer in football history.
Really? Hazard
Chelsea to Madrid. Chelsea to Madrid. Hazard to Madrid.
Oh, his specific transfer or just that route?
He is one.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like...
No, he's one. I think that football transfer...
so did he end his career at Madrid? You see, I didn't even know
I don't think he even played like 30 games or 40 games for Madrid. Very, very little.
Yeah.
But
no
Hazard, what a career, what a player. If you know, you know. The streets will never forget.
Yeah, he's one of them. Another streets will never forget. And I saw a nice tribute to him because we argue a lot about stats versus sort of general feel. And obviously the modern day fan of any sport, very stats driven. But this tribute was saying that, yes, stats count, this and that. And he doesn't really have the stats that can, blow anyone away. But his on-field presence and what he did on a game, that
Second
sort of
to none.
that magician element that he had will be missed in the game. And I don't really feel sorry for him because he's very rich.
Yeah. But it's sport, I guess.
Tough to feel sorry for the rich and famous. And what of course is happening in the PSL. Well, breaking news, going straight to our PSL correspondent. He's actually on leave. We're going to focus our attention on the MTN8. Jadon, what's happening?
Thank you, Sam. But yeah, Pirates winning the MTN8 over a very controversial game and exciting penalty shootout against Sundowns.
But good, it's good that Sundowns lose.
I say the same thing.
We need... X Factor.
My team. X Factor.
No, we need some new... It's the same with the F1.
Yeah.
I also think the marketing in the PSL must be... And these sort of local competitions. But if it's just one team winning, it's very hard to get behind that.
Yeah. But it was good. Nice, exciting game, especially the penalty shootout. But yeah.
We should be... South Africans should be world class at penalty shootouts.
We should.
Because every second game I watch in a knockout competition in South Africa, penalties. It's almost stop wasting our time. Let's just go to the penalties. 90 minutes plus added time, extra time, some foreplay. Penalties. And it can be 4-4, 6-6
penalties. And our keepers are good at... Okay, I don't know if they're good at saving or we're just bad at taking them. I know Chaine or Chain... yeah, because everybody says Chaine and they asked him what's his surname and he says, no, it's Chain, like 2 chains. But
2 chains, but I got me a few on.
Teddy boy. So, he saved the first 3 penalty kicks from Sundowns, which obviously placed Orlando Pirates in a very easy position to take the trophy. So, yeah, quite cool.
What you get when you win the MTN8?
8 million rand from MTN. It's a little compared to...
I thought it was 8 teams.
It's the top 8 teams of the previous season that play in the MTN8 of...
And you get 8 million.
And you get 8 million rand.
That's a South African thing. 8 8.
8.
MTN.
MTN.
What are we going to call it? MTN.
It was previously the BP top 8 before the PSL took over.
Okay.
But now it's obviously
The
sponsored.
Petroleum Soccer League.
Yes.
You heard it here first. And
The F1.
oh, the F1. Who's watching F1?
I'm not watching.
Oh, you're not either. No.
Everyone?
No one's watching.
No one are watching the F1.
F1. The best was obviously the Verstappen Hamilton duel in the desert.
Yeah.
You know, but when it's so dominant, and this is the case, this history repeats itself in F1 all the time. It doesn't matter if your name's Hamilton, Verstappen,
Schumacher,
Vettel,
whoever.
Schumacher. As soon as you start winning and winning regularly, you automatically people lose interest in you and people lose interest in the sport because it's not competitive.
Yeah.
It's not exciting.
Yeah.
And that's what makes sports so compelling, is that when you rock up to a Sundowns versus Pirates game, you genuinely don't know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
You don't.
What's going to happen?
When
I agree.
Israel Adesanya faces Sean Strickland, even despite the crazy odds stacked towards Izzy's favor, you don't know what's going to happen.
I agree.
In F1, you kind of know what's going to happen.
You kind of know what's going to happen. I agree. But the Doha Qatari F1 race was very, very controversial as well. Was hot. Not the racing, just the temperature.
It reminds me of the driving up, Kloof Neck in my Fiat 500 with a clutch pedal burning. The windows are stuck up and the aircon doesn't work. I felt like George Russell.
But you felt like a lot of drivers.
I was going as slowly as George Russell.
Yeah, shame. Ocon apparently throwing up in the cockpit because of the heat. A lot of drivers opening up their visors because of just the needed fresh air. They felt like they were going to faint. And a handful of drivers also needing medical attention after the race just because of the humidity and the heat and dehydration.
So a lot of racers saying that it was the craziest race the most physically demanding race they've ever been.
And for those of you that don't know, F1 drivers really need to be fit, strong. The athletes, even though they're driving a car, the fastest car in the world, might I add. But
What about that neck?
All about that neck. You need to have those.
Got to be a glizzy gobbler with that. But we've done the usual. We've done our review, but this is it's the meat,
the crux,
the crux of the matter.
There we go.
And
Getting to the burger.
We wanted to chat about money and sport because we realize we end up agreeing with a lot of things on the podcast.
We do,
which is not what you want to hear. You want to see fights. You want to see racial tension. You want controversy, and we're not going to give it to you. But we did think, I think we have differing opinions of money and sports. So, what do you want to lead with? Because I believe you phrased or sometimes believe that money's ruining sport.
Yeah. So the question is: are owners and business entities ruining sport as we know it with all the money they're pumping in? So I have a couple of stats for you. In football, it's well known that Man City, Newcastle, PSG, RB Leipzig, they've all had takeovers, and with those takeovers, a lot of money being pumped into their big money to their clubs. Before Man City had the takeover, this is in 2008 when they took over. Prior to that, they ended 10th, 9th, 14th, and 15th. In the league. Which is low. Very, very low.
It's not good.
After the takeover, 7 league titles, 1 Champions League, and a number of domestic cups.
Yeah.
PSG takeover happened in 2011. Prior to the takeover, 4th, 13th, 6th, 16th, and 15th. Donkeys. After the takeover, 9 league cups, and a number of domestic cups. Newcastle, for those of you that watch sport, Newcastle were in the trenches just recently. The takeover happened, I think it was 2021. Relegated in 2016, Newcastle. So they're in the championship. And now they are serious contenders for the Premier League and participating in the Champions League. I know they did participate.
So what's wrong with that? Sounds lovely for these clubs. Business is booming.
Look, for Newcastle, I am happy that the takeover happened because they are a club with rich history. Alan Shearer, they played in the Champions League,
Santiago Nunes.
Oh my word.
Was it Nunes?
So I
You're
agree
a talent,
with
Sante.
Because, I mean, City and PSG, it's like they win every single time. Every single time they're there. They either won or they two. PSG, they
But are we calling this the F1 complex? That you support Newcastle, but now if Newcastle went on a 10-year run where they...
Hey, we don't like Newcastle.
Then you don't like them. So
I see.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I don't think you've been argumentative yet in terms of like, what would your argument be? That you are anti this because it takes out the sort of, I don't know, like the honesty in the game in terms of, you have to work your socks off.
Not honesty, but I think what they're taking out is, like City will buy 4 or 5 world-class centre-backs. They'll buy 3 or 4 world-class wingers. And I get it. Because Pep rotation, he plays in 4 or 5 leagues competitions every single season. You need a squad. And I think at that level, it's not, how can I say, it's not evident and it's not like fault for the other clubs because everybody has money. But essentially, Sundowns does exactly the same thing in South Africa, where they're weakening the league. So for me, I want to see competition. I want to see if I go to... if I watch a League game with PSG versus, let's say, Saint Etienne, I know who's going to win.
Yeah,
because of the squad. I want to see competition. I want to see when teams rock up. I don't know who's going to win. In the Premier League, it's different. I understand. The best league in the world. Every team has good enough players. Blah blah blah. But I guarantee you, next season, even if City don't need a right wing or left wing or centre mid, they will buy 2 or 3. They just bought Nunes from. Not Santiago Nunes. Nunes from Wolves. They don't need him. Why do they buy him?
Yeah.
And who's not going to go to City? Money's there. You playing with the best players in the world. Pep Guardiola is your coach. You know, I mean, it's
you're going to get
weakening the league.
Yeah. But I think it just depends on who you support. So I think Mark Goldbridge is quite funny when he talks about it. He was like very anti Qatari money or Saudi money, and he's like, but now he's like, he wants United to have that sort of money.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't compete. And also, I suppose when you're looking at it, I don't think it's a bad thing because, you know, sport is completely business driven. So people are going to put money where they see value. City do well, that's cool. PSG do well. The proof is in the real sort of pudding is that there's still a lot of skill and expertise required.
Yeah.
So United spend close to the same as City year in, year out.
Well, that's different.
But their recruitment shit, they don't bring in the right players.
I agree.
They throw a coach under the bus every season and you're left with a team in 10th or 11th, whatever it is, versus a team that's won over the last sort of 10 years or been really good. Yeah. So it's the same thing with PSG. PSG, they don't really show up in the Champions League because you can't just throw money blindly at a problem.
11 superstars, you just need a team instead of 11 superstars that just might be the best players.
And I think if you bring the best, you look at what's happening with the Saudi league, you bring in seemingly the best talent.
Yeah.
You do elevate the league. And I'm not talking about the ethics of the Saudi league or wara. I'm just saying, if you're pumping money into a sport. So, you know, with Mourinho receiving a bid from Al Hilal for 30 mil. Reportedly.
30 mil.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Probably not. 12.
And he rejected it.
He rejected it. There's someone going, I value this league's competition over your money. And that's fine. So I don't ever think money in sport will be a problem. I think it makes sport better.
I agree with you to an extent. But like I said, I don't think it's felt more where everybody has bucks. So for example, like in South African system, like with Sundowns, you feel it more here because Sundowns will buy every single good player that they don't even need from the lower team. So they bought Shalulile from Highlands Park. They bought Mokoena from SuperSport. They bought Ronan Williams from SuperSport. That's probably the best players of the smaller teams. I know SuperSport is not a smaller team, but I mean, they're still good players.
Yes.
And
sure, and I think it is case to case.
Yeah.
So in the Premier League, I don't think people can complain about teams spending money. Every team's spending big money, and if you are Sheffield United or Luton Town, whatever it is, such is life. We can't have everyone with the same sort of circumstances. So.
I don't know. I just think I'm a sports purist. I just want to see competition. I don't care if you win, if you lose. I just want to see competition. Yes, when I play, I want to win because I'm playing. But if I'm a spectator and a supporter, I want to see competition. I want to, like for example, when we lost to Ireland, I was bitter because we lost. But I drove home and I think, that is a flippin' good game of rugby.
Yes.
And I wasn't mad that Ireland won. I was just maybe sad that we lost. And it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive.
So what I would use to support my sort of thinking is cricket in South Africa, namely the SA20 or the Betway 20.
No, that's a positive.
So you bring in world-class players, you market the event, you have the draft, you make it exciting, and now all these players are elevated. It doesn't matter if you actually carry water for 2 months, being part of the Betway 20. You've been training with Chennai Super Kings sort of coaches. You've had world-class players. You get to compete on a stage, and it elevates the whole sport. More people are watching, because I think ultimately it comes down to eyeballs. How many people are watching? And that's determined by a lot of things, like you've mentioned, how exciting is the potential clash?
Yeah.
Is there room for an upset? Is there room for, the unknown? But it also comes down to, is it the best,
Yeah.
I would quite confidently go and pay a big money to watch Sachin Tendulkar bat again against kind of anyone.
Yeah.
Just to be in the presence of that sort
Of
of
the little
greatness. So,
master.
and again, a guy like Jadon Gideon, who I played a lot of cricket against when...
Ex-Bosch boy.
No, I was there watching while he was taking wickets and running around. But again, pretty... out of this world schoolboy talent.
Yeah.
He's 26, 27 now? No one's really heard of Jadon Gideon. He's played domestic cricket, but now, bang, sold for 1.5 million rand. Elevates his status. And of course, he's a good cricketer.
Yeah.
But maybe he hadn't got those sort of opportunities.
Tristan Stubbs as well.
What did Stubbs go for?
9.2
Cheap.
million rand. So he was the I think the highest drafted player in the first edition of the SA20.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, now look at him. No one knew about Tristan Stubbs before.
Yeah.
Played in the SA20, and now he's a Protea.
And these things bring big money signings. It brings attention to the game. So if you're like, oh, Tristan Stubbs was bought for 200K. Yo, this is the 10 million rand guy coming into bat. Or what did Deerwold Brevis go for? Or Bavuma's left out.
Yeah.
What was his price point? Did they overprice him for a T20 player? Why didn't anyone pick him up? Is Rock Nation going to push him through the door again? Like they did with the Eastern Cape, Sunrisers? I don't know.
Sunrisers.
But anyway, the other thing I think this moves nicely into, and it's something where we live in every single day, is money in the hockey community. So South African hockey is in absolute shambles.
Chaos.
Administratively. In terms of players, love for the game, coaching staff, all that sort of stuff, I'd say we're in a pretty good place.
Strong, yeah.
The feeling around the game is good. It's one of the most played sports in schools in South Africa. People often brush past that because it is played by men and women.
Yeah.
So you've got full girls' sides, you've got full boys' sides. So it's a very popular sport. Unfortunately, there's just nowhere to go post school.
Yeah.
School is the pinnacle. The biggest crowds, the greatest interest, probably the most intense training, which is a bit upsetting. So where do you see South African hockey right now with regards to money?
Yeah, it's sad because I remember I think it was the 2016 Olympics. We couldn't go because of money. We qualified for the Nations Cup after, was it the Pro League? We won the Nations Cup. And we qualified to go to the Pro League. So
for those of you who don't know, the Nations Cup was basically for, if you're thinking about rugby systems, the tier 2 nations to push us through into the Pro League.
Yeah.
We won that against Ireland.
Which obviously gave us entry to the Pro League. The top 10 best countries in the world. And if you play against the best, you get better. You get money, you get a lot of things.
Sponsorship. It's all, you elevate yourself from a completely amateur brand to you know, more sort of semi-pro / professional.
Correct. And our National Hockey Association said, no, you can't go because, again, of, admin issues and money and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of talk about that, like how much money needed to be raised and it only needed to be 10 million or so. So we, every time we progress, we seem to pick up a gun and shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with the players.
It's sad because, number one, you're fighting on the field against countries that actually want to improve their hockey. So, for example, Ireland also maybe just a bit better than us with regards to maybe the admin and the players, but they're also trying to get into that tier 1 nation.
Yeah.
I know South Korea is there. I think it was Japan also in the
Well, I wouldn't say Ireland are better than us. I'd say they're on par with us. They're only on par with us because of their admin.
Yeah.
And how bad our admin is. But
so it's quite sad because our players are playing overseas. They're playing in professional leagues in Germany, in Belgium, in the Netherlands, and it's quite sad because like you are sacrificing so much out of your own pocket. You are some maybe taking leave from work or university and all that sort of stuff, and yet you still need to pay from your own pocket to represent your country in a national tournament, which I think is
So
crazy.
As Jadon's alluding to there, like it's ridiculous. You're completely self-funded, and I was thinking a lot about this because we've just talked about money in sport. Money elevates sport. Sometimes it ruins leagues, and with South African hockey, there is no money
at all.
There's no money. So it's very interesting. And you go, well, maybe it is just an amateur sport.
Yeah.
It's an amateur sport, but we've clearly pushed further than that. We've elevated ourselves to a global level.
Yeah.
And that's not recently. We've had really good historic sides over the last, you could say, 20, 30 years. Yeah. Post-apartheid.
Yeah.
And, it's the big problem for me is trying to work out, and I've pulled up the top 10, and that's got Netherlands, Belgium, India, England, Germany, Australia, Argentina, Spain, France, and Korea. That's your
top
10 men's ranking in the world right now. So this is not some donkey sport played by nobodies. Those are leading nations, big populations, big economies. And if you look at the last time they played a game, it's all in August of 2023, June, some of them, and October. And then if you go to South Africa, who are ranked 14th, the last time we played a game was the 28th of Jan, 2023.
Yeah.
So it's
AFCON.
sort of 6 months that separates us, and you don't do anything for 6 months. You're not gonna be able.
Yeah, that's.
You're not gonna be able to do it. So
and another issue is it's like we have.
This is depressing.
Oh, it's depressing.
Come to a joke. Let's see.
No. We have the personnel to take us to the next level. I mean, how many South Africans won Olympic medals with other nations coaching? Who was it? Greg Clark was coaching India. He won a bronze. What's his name? Red Halkett.
Red Halkett. Also
the ladies.
With the Dutch.
The Dutch ladies. There was a couple of others. But
Paul Revington, now involved with Great Britain. So
all South Africans.
All South Africans, yeah. So the saddest part of South African hockey for me right now is the fact that you achieve one of your lifelong dreams. You get selected for a national team, whether it's under 17, under 21, or open age group, men's or women's hockey, and then you have to go online to Facebook, Instagram. Haven't seen any TikTok dancers yet, but, and you have to beg for money to go to a World Cup or a qualifying,
representing your own nation,
a qualifying sort of competition. So it's it goes out to, and then you don't know what the solution is. And I think it's we've got to work out a way to do the Netflix fix, F1, tennis, golf. How do we get people invested and interested? Well, you tell them the story, because we've got the most wonderful stories in South Africa.
Yeah.
You've got the Kasim brothers, who are probably the most talented hockey players South Africa's ever produced. Probably the world has ever seen, talent-wise.
Yeah, talent-wise.
Where do they come from?
Mitchell's
okay, a tough community.
Yeah.
What a fascinating story. What did they go through? How did they achieve? Their dad, Kasa. What an interesting human being. Can we tell these stories? Can we get people interested?
Yeah.
Langa Hockey Club.
Lungile Tolekile is another one. From Langa.
Yeah, you got hockey
went to the Olympics.
Royalty that come out of Langa.
Yeah.
A township in South Africa. Not that people must feel sorry for Langa. What amazing things happen there.
Just a good story.
What a strong community they have.
Yeah.
What a drive that you can come from sort of, quote unquote, impoverished places
Yeah.
and have such amazing things happen. And that's not to say you just have to tell the sob stories. I don't think those are sob stories. I think they're very successful stories. But you know, what's the history of the Cape Town League?
Yeah.
Who are the big players in it? You know, so how can we make it more interesting and compelling to people so that they want to come and watch and they want to play? Because the problem is not players or even crowds, really. You know, it just could be done in a better way. But why should anyone care? And if we can't answer that, or we can't provide a solution to that, well, then we deserve, I think, as a hockey community, to be groveling for money.
Yeah.
Because if you can't make people care, which you have to,
that's the most important thing. Yeah, try and make people care.
Make people care about it, because it's, again, I think to watch live, and maybe this is the problem, because when you watch on TV, it doesn't matter, Olympics, whatever it is, Pro League, they still, I don't think, have found a way to capture the sport properly, where it really shows what's going on, the fierceness of the contest. And I think it's hard because it moves so quickly and it transitions so quickly. It's not like soccer where you can track it a little bit easier. But if you watch hockey live, I think hands down it's one of the most exciting sports. And that's not biased. I love all sports.
Yeah, so I'm the same.
So what are we gonna do? And of course, they, like in all, and this is a subtopic, and I think it's a topic we'll get into more going forward when we talk about this podcast and talk on this podcast, because I think it's important, and that's the transformation in South African sports. So not to put you under the gun or like, hey, what's your answer? But what's your view of transformation in sports in South Africa?
Look, when Siya Kolisi lifted the Rugby World Cup as the first black South African captain, Temba Bavuma again, I'm not sure he's the first black Proteas captain, but he's definitely one of a handful.
Yeah, he's the first black. Ashwell Prince was the first player of color to captain the Proteas. Yeah,
that says it all. That says it all. I know back then, I know football was the only majority person of color black sport, and now to see so many people of color in rugby, in hockey, again, hockey predominantly or historically more a rich
private school, white people. Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is. But yeah, just to see like Langa Hockey Club, very, very good. Central Hockey Club also, a lot of people of color, doing good things. And it's just cool to see that we don't really see race anymore when we are playing sport. Like if I'm playing against a person, I don't say, it's a black person, it's a colored person, whatever. I'm saying, okay, that's a person that I need to maybe mark, or that's a person I need to look up to because maybe I saw he did something cool, whatever the case may be. So I don't think for me personally, I can only speak for myself, I don't think there's, lines like that anymore. And
I would disagree. And maybe this is, well, if we're talking about the Cape Town GC Hockey League, you've got Langa, which is predominantly black. They have one or two white guys playing for them. Very rarely a colored person playing for Langa. And then you have Central, predominantly colored. Very few black or white people playing at Central.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other clubs across the board, Bellville, Milnerton, Westmoreland's Cricket Club, your university sides. And you'd say that the clubs, maybe not the universities, but certainly the clubs,
are predominantly white.
But
I agree, but I'm saying the mere fact that we have two colored and black, or two clubs that are of color that's actually playing hockey.
Yes, and it's not a handout. Those are Central League winners, Langa, perennial sort of contenders. Yeah. No, okay, I 100% agree with that. But I'm of the opinion that you should speak about transformation.
You should.
You
still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But encourage one another to have a hand in different, sports. Like, don't just play football. Don't just play rugby. Try something else. Like, you might be bad at it, but you might enjoy it as well.
What are you talking about? Just life transformation?
No, I'm saying...
just try everything.
Just try everything. No, really. When it comes to sport, guys, the world's your oyster. You never know what you might enjoy, what you obviously won't enjoy, but you won't know unless you try.
I'm a massive sort of believer in grassroots transformation.
Okay.
And then internationally, the team has to be picked on
merit.
On merit, yeah. So you can't be fixing things at an international level. You can't put someone in a team because they're black or colored in an international stage and expect that's going to be good for their development. You're hanging this person out to dry. I think Charles Langerfeldt was one of the most outspoken about it when he was selected for the Proteas, and he turned it down. I might be speaking out of turn here, but it's a story that stuck with me. And he said, they're better players than me. Yeah. And he turned down his selection. So
yeah, I agree with that.
And how must you now perform against the world's best if you feel there was lots of controversy in our last World Cup. Yeah. Not our last World Cup. My apologies. Our 2015 World Cup, with the selection of Vernon Philander, caused a lot of issues, and so I think you have to push transformation really hard
and really early
at a grassroots school level, where you say, okay, how many people, and again, I still think the focus should be financial. Like, what is your financial situation? And of course, in South Africa, that is going to skew majority towards players of color. So
it's sad actually as well. Because
what a depressing podcast.
It is. I feel like I'm gonna cry now, but it's sad. No, it's really sad, especially because we're involved with school hockey, and at national tournaments it can become very, very touch and go, and you're walking on ice and eggshells and all.
Talk about it. Just be open, transparent. I think that's even with the school selection, people are like, oh, why is he in? It's like, be upfront with the
just 50, be honest.
The 50% thing. This is why we're doing it. This is the history of the country, and at an international level, we won't do it.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's the language yet. So it's tough. And when SA Hockey are putting out job applications for CEO on Instagram,
that's shocking.
You want to just start sobbing. It's like, must be a good person. Tick.
Come on, anyone can apply for that with those criteria.
So, we're gonna obviously keep doing our thing in our hockey community, trying our best, and hopefully we can truly work out a way to make people care more. Because even like today, I don't think I did a great job of making people care about hockey.
Me neither. But again, at least we try.
It's the intent that matters. What a somber end. It's like carte blanche. It's not always going to be giggles.
No.
It's not always going to be giggles.
Not at all.
So, Jadon, thank you.
Thank you
for another interesting TLB sports podcast. Number 3.
Very important one.
Will this get us back in the charts? Almost certainly not.
Probably not. Probably not, I won't lie.
But do the usual. If you like this conversation, if you found it engaging, if you found it a little bit funny, share it to someone, rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts.
Like, comment,
and subscribe.
And hit the bell icon. I always want to do that.
Yeah, hit the bell. Right. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.